Hi, welcome to the TMC Roadshow. We are in San Jose this week. I'm Eric Lanask, and I'm pleased to be talking with John Vincenzo. He's the VP of Marketing at Embrane. John, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
So, really, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things changing in the enterprise and the service provider environments and the data centers. This thing called agility, that's what everybody keeps talking about. And it's really one of the things that Embrane was started around. Tell me about it.
And it's a good point that you bring up about agility, because service providers and enterprises have been moving in that direction with compute virtualization, storage virtualization. But the one element of infrastructure that's been lagging behind in terms of the ability to rapidly provision and grow and shrink on demand and pay for only what you use has been the network. And so Embrane has come, we've developed Embrane to be able to deliver that kind of agility and flexibility on the networking side.
So how does it change what enterprises and service providers can do when you add networking into that whole scheme?
So again, when you implement it, and what Embrane does is what we call layer 4 through 7, so network services such as load balancers and firewalls and VPNs, et cetera. And what we allow companies to do now is be able to provision those, procure those, configure those in mere seconds rather than days, weeks, or months.
So basically what you're saying is the things that folks have been able to do with storage and other elements like that, they can now do with load balancers, VPNs.
Yeah, the network has really been the bottleneck, particularly when it comes to cloud adoption, because it's the last piece of the infrastructure that's evolved to be able to support the kind of the agile environment. So by moving the network up further and giving it more agility and more speed, now as a service provider, I can have a faster time to revenue, I can have a faster time to turn up my customers. On enterprises, I can start to automate for my internal clients. I can do things on demand. And by the way, I can also save a lot of money doing so.
Nothing wrong with that. So, you know, a lot of times service providers, enterprise have very different requirements. How is it that you're seeing interest from both of those communities?
Well, I think it's a little bit of it's a combination that the cloud isn't going to be public or private. There are going to be elements of the two. It's going to be a hybrid of the two. And so to be able to offer agile services in the public cloud, you want to be able to do the same thing, the same kind of flexibility in the private cloud. So enterprises, the service providers are much further along in terms of where they are of adoption of these cloud agile technologies, cloud computing. So enterprises are learning also from cloud service providers and what they need to build a similar environment in-house, so they actually can talk well together and work well together in kind of a hybrid world.
So now when businesses are able to take these resources into a cloud environment, what happens with anything they've already got deployed on premise?
It's a good question, because one of the things that we really want people to understand is it's not a rip and replace initiative. We don't want it to be a rip and replace initiative. The people have invested a lot of energy, time, and money in building their existing infrastructure. So what we've developed is a solution that actually works in both the legacy environment as well as this new cloud computing environment. So the idea is, let's insert into the network elements into this more agile environment, but also support some of the legacy equipment that you've already spent time and money and energy implementing.
So outside of that legacy equipment that's still performing well and still can be utilized, how much, any sense of how much in terms of resources enterprises can save when they take some of these into the cloud?
Well, the more you can automate, the more you'll be able to redeploy resources to other areas. IT in general spends far too much time in terms of just filling gaps and putting band-aids, trying to help fix the day-to-day activities. Would be nice to be able to have IT be able to focus on more strategic elements, more strategic applications, faster application deployments, and by taking some of the headaches of the lack of agility and flexibility that you have today with infrastructure, and be able to automate that for them so they can put resources elsewhere to kind of drive the business.
So you've talked about load balancers, VPNs, firewalls. Are there other network-related elements that you're planning on bringing into this kind of a cloud environment?
Well, yeah, you mentioned that today we offer the virtual load balancer with SSL, offload, VPNs, firewalls. A lot of our energy is about building those up as well. But the platform is designed to run any layer 4 network services, any service that focuses on flows, that helps application performance. The platform is designed to do, and that could be either ones that we develop, or probably more likely have third parties develop to it as well. Because if you have a particular network service that's built in a traditional environment, you want to be able to offer these services on demand and be able to get some elasticity to grow and shrink to be able to really help your customers, then you can start to think about porting to the platform. We provide the agility layer, you provide the functionality layer, and it's a win-win.
So another rendition, if you will, of the App Store type of scenario.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the Apple experience is something we're trying to recreate from a usability standpoint, but also from just a pure automation and on-demand environment.
Excellent. Well, good luck. John, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.